Welcome to your weekly airplane news update. This is the week of April 4th, 2022. We get 4 stories for you this week. The first one is a charter company that is buying 200 eVTOL aircraft, except there's one little snafu. We'll talk about Delta that made an emergency landing after a shattered windshield. The pictures are quite amazing. We'll talk about an issue at Alaska Airlines with the pilot exodus and a lot of canceled flights. And then lastly, we'll give you an update on Textron that is bringing a bunch of upgrades to Beechcraft and Cessna aircraft. Let's get to it. And the first story this week is sounds like a good one, which is a charter company that is buying 200 eVTOL aircraft. Embraer is going to be getting another order for their eVTOL. Now, eVTOL is electric vertical and takeoff and landing aircraft, which is these aircraft that you've seen before. We've mentioned them quite a few times, where it kind of looks like a big drone, right? That's going to take off vertically and then transition to a horizontal flight. The total number of aircraft is going to be 1,785 aircraft, which is quite a bit actually. The only problem is that Embraer has yet to do any kind of full-scale prototype flying, which I think is interesting. They're promising that these aircraft will be delivered in 2026, which is only 4 years away. If you know anything about aircraft manufacturing and aircraft production, I think it's going to take a little bit longer than that, but Embraer is a big company. They've done that before. So we'll see what happens. The Eve is the name of the aircraft. Is going to be a fully autonomous aircraft with an option of having an onboard pilot as well. All right, the next story this week is kind of a scary one. This is a Delta Airlines 757 aircraft. That was a flight from Salt Lake City to Washington, D.C. They were forced to divert because of a windshield shattering during the flight. They were in cruise. I don't know that we know at what altitude it was, but you can see from the pictures it's pretty scary, the windshield completely shattering. This is a pretty uncommon thing, not something that we hear quite a bit, so I'm not sure what happened there. But this happened about 90 minutes after takeoff. They had to divert to Denver. There were no injuries that were reported, but I'm sure the pilots will have a good story to tell for quite a while. And the next story this week comes out of Alaska, with Alaska Airlines blaming over 200 cancellation on loss of pilots. It looks like they had a mass exodus of pilots over the last couple of weeks, and it's estimated 35,000 passengers were affected across the U.S. They said that there was a wait line of about 10 hours on the phone. It sounded like some people were going to be stuck for actually close to a week at their destination or at their location before they could be carried to, to go where they paid to go. The VP of flight operations said that a lot of pilots were heading out for the door, which caused all the issues over the weekend. Here's a quote. He said, "The primary driver for our performance right now is the shortage of pilots we have available to fly versus what was planned when we built our April schedule in January." As you know, these schedules, or maybe you don't, but schedules get built months in advance for these airlines, and it looks like right now they don't have enough people to fill in the seats. This is a story that we're hearing from a lot of other companies, not necessarily to that level, but the pilot shortage is real with COVID ending and people traveling some more, and pilots having been laid off for a while. Typically what happens after a cycle like this is pilots decide that they can do something else and decide not to, no longer be airline pilots, and they're no longer available, or they go fly for airline companies because they have enough experience, and then they're able to get the jobs out of the smaller airlines. So this is not the last time that we're going to hear about issues like this, not specifically for Alaska Airlines. I think this is going to be an issue we're going to be faced quite a bit in the future. The last update this week is Textron is giving a bunch of upgrades to their fleet of aircraft. This is the Beechcraft Bonanza, the Baron, and the Cessna single-engine aircraft. They said that they're going to get a range of enhancement. The Bonanza is going to get a maximum takeoff weight increase of 155 pounds. The Baron and the Bonanza are going to be upgraded to the Garmin GI 275 as a standby instrument, and then a bunch of Garmin avionics system, a bunch of USB ports, and then they said updated exterior lighting. The Cessna Piston models are also going to be getting the GI 275, a bunch of USB ports, and also a retro paint scheme on the 182 Skyline. So if you want to see more information, we're going to put a link down in the description. But this is it. This is all we have for you this week. As always, like, subscribe, leave your comments, and we'll see you next week.